like yesterday, we definitely got another packed show. For the ones who listen to Monday, I'm glad you listened. I hope you liked it. And just like yesterday, I also just thank everyone who given their time to do an interview here on TrendChat. And we have another packed show full of interviews. And I just don't want to take up too much time because I want to make sure I get through all the interviews. I want to at least get through them all by Thursday. So the first interview is with Amanda Owens with the Future Female Leaders. And I got a chance to speak with her down at the exhibit hall where they call the CPAC Hub. And good friend, and she's been helpful as far as helping me out as far as coming to do some Tea Party meetings. Well, one in particular in Dallas, and I got a chance to catch up with her, and here's my interview with her.
Hello, this is Politichicks.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe here at CPAC, and we have the Amanda Owens from Future Female Leaders. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, so, well, I know this is not the first CPAC, but actually I want to ask, how many have you been to already?
This is my third CPAC.
Okay, and Future Female Leaders, so tell me all about it.
We are America's leading social movement for conservative women. We try to provide a sense of pride of what it is to be a conservative woman, because we all know the world's not always very friendly to us. So we try to build each other up and make each other proud to be able to stand up for our beliefs.
And you are speaking, correct?
Yes, I am speaking today on a breakout panel, and tomorrow on the main stage about trigger warnings and safe spaces.
Okay, and so you're on a panel. So who else is with you?
I'm with Madison Gesiotto, Lawrence Jones from TheBlaze, Dr. Matthew Spalding from Hillsdale College.
Okay, so given that you're, I guess, engaging with a lot of college and high school students as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So what do Future Female Leaders do as far as that sort of engagement?
Yeah, well, we're more of a we put emphasis on social media. We know there's a lot of great organizations out there that are out there on college campuses, on the ground, and we try to bring, the second prong to activism is social media in the digital age. So we try to, get the word out on social media. We have about 500,000 social media followers in total, and we're reaching about 6 million readers each month on our website. And on our website, it is, we have tools, tips of how to live your best life. It might be how to ace a phone interview, or it might be how Kellyanne Conway is the real definition of feminism, or it ranges from politics to career to relationships, and we try to give girls tools, even if politics is just a hobby for them, that they can use in their own career fields.
Okay, so Future Female Leaders, what all is on the website? I'm guessing you have products and all sorts of events going on, and so what all do the organization, I guess, do during the year?
Right. Well, we have daily posts that go on our website that I just spoke about, and then we also have our merchandise, and that is what sustains us as an organization. We have apparel, accessories, and gifts for the right-leaning person in your life, and then we are also present at a lot of conferences, geared towards women throughout the year, and that is, to engage and mobilize women to get more involved in the political process and get informed.
Yes, and I guess you would say the signature, I guess, piece will be the elephant skirts?
Yes, the red elephant skirts are a hot item in the Reagan red, and I think they're popular because they have an elephant on it, but it's not the GOP elephant, so it's kind of ambiguous. Girls can just wear it, and it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, I'm supporting my political views, but not everyone in the room knows it,
So I've been asking everyone here is that, what does the word conservative mean to you?
Conservative for me means, what it is at the core principles of conservatism, which is, limited government, free market, fiscal responsibility, and, giving the power back to the individual.
Okay, and also in talking about, I guess, in engaging with a lot of younger people, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are maybe a little apprehensive as far as getting involved. So So for the person that maybe is questioning progressive ideology, maybe they don't like it and they don't want to join in with probably a lot of their friends, but they're scared of being ostracized if they get vocal. So what words of encouragement will you give them to, I guess, move forward?
Well, and I resonate with that completely, because that's actually how FFL was started, was because I felt uncomfortable stating my political opinions to my friends, because I did so on Facebook, and I felt ostracized, and I wasn't being disrespectful, and people that I called my friends were writing like name calling to me, and I felt like I couldn't freely express my opinions without getting unfriended and those types of things. So I know what that's like to feel that, and I resonate with that, and I would encourage the girls to having your set of friends, they don't all have to be conservative. Some of the best ways to grow and some of the best friendships are people with people you don't agree with politically. But I would try to find a group on campus to get involved with in your free time that has like-minded people, or getting involved in future female leaders obviously is a great way. Shameless plug. And social media is such a great tool. It connects us with people that we would have never been connected with elsewhere. And so I think that is a powerful tool to get connected with organizations that might help you out and help gain confidence for you to freely speak out.
Okay. So you have anything else coming up?
Our next little go is we're going to be doing a campaign for Women's History Month and showing what all great things that conservative women have done and are doing and will be doing in the future.
Okay. All right. This has been Politichicks.com, and my name is Brian Bledsoe, here with Amanda Owens with Future Female Leaders. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And thanks again to Amanda Owens from Future Female Leaders for joining us. And the next interview is with someone that I would say Politichicks in particular will be familiar with, is radio talk show host Bill Whittle. He has more titles than that. He actually gets into in the interview. So not going to delay anymore. Here's my interview with him.
Hello, this is Politichicks.com here at CPAC. My name is Brian Bledsoe. I'm here with Bill Whittle. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. It's an amazing experience.
So I want to make sure that you give your full title as for me messing it up. So
sometimes they introduce me off my bio, and I've done so many different jobs. Just like I'm a guy who can't hold down an occupation. I just like political commentator. Actually, if I could have anything, it'd just be writer, to be honest with you.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is not your first time at CPAC, no?
It's my third time, but I haven't been here since 2010, so it's a long time.
Okay, so how would you describe the atmosphere here for this particular CPAC?
Well, first of all, it's better to win than to lose, that's for sure. Secondly, the most striking thing about it, and by far the best thing about it, is I cannot believe how many young people are here. This has been a problem for Republicans and conservatives forever. The average age is deceased, and it's getting older. And you look out into the crowd, you see nothing but white hair. And to their credit, all of these older Tea Party and Republican people are saying, what are we going to do about young people? How are we going to get a hold of them? And I think this whole Generation Z thing is much, much more conservative, and it's given me a great deal of hope.
Okay, so, given that we are here at the Conservative Political Action Conference, so a question I've been asking everyone, what does the word conservative mean to you?
That's a really, really great question. I don't want to sound like, Bill Clinton, with that kind of sophistry, but this is the honest truth. I think conservatives are trying to conserve traditional liberal values. When the whole idea of things like private property and protection of of rights from the government, these were all revolutionarily liberal ideas. And then a bunch of people who are against freedom, who are against responsibility, against property, against anything that they don't control, took the name liberal, and it's a real shame. But yeah, I'm trying to conserve these values, and I think that these values mostly peaked earlier, not in time so much. Just real quick, for example, the EPA did a lot of good when the EPA started. When the EPA started in the 70s, the Cuyahoga River in Cleveland, Ohio caught fire. The river caught fire. and the Great Lakes were just dead. There was nothing in them, and the air was filthy in Los Angeles. So when the EPA helped clean all that stuff up, that was great. I was in favor of the EPA then. But now, the country is much cleaner than it's been since the industrial era. Now all the EPA does is go out there and make impossible regulations and impossible fees and make it virtually impossible for people to open a business. And so I want to kind of go back and conserve the way things were when they were important, and not this nutcase job of the progressive world where they have to keep finding smaller and smaller and smaller things to make more and more fuss about.
So, did you hear President Trump speak?
I did.
So, what do you thought of the speech?
I didn't. I thought it was. I think that. I really don't know if I heard him worse. I thought he was really unfocused and just kind of. We have an expression sometimes like we phone it in. He seemed to me that he was. It sounded like the kind of campaign speeches we were hearing in June, July. Listen, with that said, anytime a guy gets up there and talks about, Supreme Court justice like Gorsuch and lists his nominees, and I'm in favor of the Second Amendment, all that other stuff, that's a big win. But as far as Trump goes, I thought, just in terms of delivery, I thought it was really pretty disappointing, actually.
So I guess what you see was lacking, I guess, in the speech.
Well, he went around and made the same points, 3 or 4 times, and he basically was saying, we're going to do this and it's going to be great, and we're going to do this and it's going to be great. Many of us who had doubts about Donald Trump prior to his election thought maybe that's all there is to the guy. But then you see appointments like Mattis and DeVos and McMaster's and Gorsuch, and you realize, no, these are spectacular, unbelievably great appointments. So I would have much rather heard something new, like, why did you pick Mattis, or how has it been working with DeVore or whatever? And I was hoping for something new, because he's in about as friendly a crowd as he's ever going to find, Yeah. But with that said, the crowd really liked it, and I kind of judge these things from the standard of having watched 200 of his speeches anyway. So,
so what are you? What are you anticipating with the Trump administration? Just in general.
Yeah. I think that the American economy has been compressed like a coiled spring, and that it is going to uncoil, because he's going to cut taxes and take off a lot of regulations, and I think the economy is just going to explode. There's going to be so much growth, and there's been so much growth stifled by Obama's taxes and regulations, that I think it's going to go through the ceiling. And that is what I hope for, because I'd like a real clear kind of before and after picture of this thing.
So you have anything coming up?
I keep busy at BillWhittle.com. I'm doing a new set of videos for Turning Point USA, and have a live show every day. So, then pretty much everything I do is over at BillWhittle.com.
Bill Whittle, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, Brian. Good to see you.
And thanks to Bill Whittle for his time, as I just said. And actually, at the end, he was talking about Turning Point USA, and that is a great organization that is engaging with college students and high school students. And didn't get a chance to interview Charlie Kirk at CPAC, but I did get a chance to interview a good friend, Joanna Rodriguez. And here is my interview with her.
Hello, this is Politics.com at CPAC. My name is Brian Bledsoe, and I'm here with Joanna Rodriguez, who is the Southern Regional Director for Turning Point USA. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm just trying to get a couple of interviews and see them from people here at CPAC. And I know you've been to more than one CPAC, but how many CPACs have you been to?
This is actually my second CPAC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my second as well.
Awesome.
So what all you do with Turning Point?
So as a regional director, I oversee 6 different states. So I oversee Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. And I help start chapters on high school and college campuses for Turning Point. So usually you just find students who support limited government and free markets and capitalism, and who want to become active in the conservative, libertarian, anything right of center movement, and help them bring speakers and have events. And
I'm a big supporter of Turning Point. I go to as many events as possible, and I follow everything on Twitter and social media. I'm a big fan of Turning Point myself. So what sort of events that Turning Point do during the year?
So this summer we are doing the Young Women's Leadership Conference. We'll have hopefully about 1,000 or more young women meet in Dallas. Our headline speaker this year so far is Kellyanne Conway. We also have a few in the lineup in the works. We do a Latino conference during the summertime as well, and we also have a high school conference. And then throughout the semesters, we have regional conferences in different parts of the country for the students who aren't going to the summer ones. And then we do a winter in West Palm Beach activist retreat where everyone can come, enjoy some time in Florida after finals, and get to hear from some cool speakers as well.
All right, cool. So on the college campuses or in high school campuses, so what all do the organization, I guess, do as far as engaging with the students there?
We have a lot of signage that we use that we like to bring in, like pop culture references on our posters and our rally signs. And I think that's what attracts a lot of young people to learn more about the message. And of course, since it's not labeled Republican or Democrat, we're able to reach a larger audience. And it's really exciting getting to see people excited about all the stuff that we have for them to learn more about the movement.
Okay. So yourself personally, I know that you have been at the the Democratic convention, and just being able to engage with the other side in a way, it's during the protests and whatnot. Just tell me how did those experiences go?
The DNC was actually not as awful as I thought it'd be. A lot of the people were just really hurt Bernie Sanders supporters, and while we were talking with the protesters who supported Bernie Sanders and didn't like Hillary Clinton, we realized that we agree on a lot of things, but the problem is, how do we get there? So they think that government is a problem. They want to grow more government to fix a problem that government created. Versus myself and the people with Turning Point, we think that government is a problem, so why would we grow government to fix it?
Okay. So, for yourself personally, you have anything coming up?
Not too much that I can say. I have a little project that I'm working on. It involves the Second Amendment and women who support it. So that'll be fun. More details as they come.
I know, for some reason I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I think
more details as they come.
Because I know like someone else. Now, one thing I guess we can talk about is that you were in a story with the NRA with Antonio Okafor and Lydia Longoria.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that experience?
It was awesome. It was really cool that now we are really good friends and we text all the time. And I hadn't met them before personally. We had talked on Facebook and things of that nature, but getting to hear their story is just so empowering because I know that I'm not the only one who thinks these things. And here are some really awesome, beautiful, and empowered young ladies who believe the same things that I do. So got a really good friendship out of that.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time and thanks very much.
Thank you.
And thanks to Joanna Rodriguez for speaking with us for a couple of minutes. And I really would recommend Turn the Point USA to anyone who is currently in college or high school or has children in high school or college. So the next interview up is with Madison Gesiotto, who most recently was helping out with the Trump administration during the inauguration. But I'm going to have her to say more about all that she's been involved with. So here's my interview with her.
Hello, this is Politics.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe, and I'm here with Madison Gesiotto. And I don't want to mess up all the things that you are a part of, so I'm going to let you do it.
Sure. So I was one of the surrogates on President Trump's campaign, and then I went on to serve as the regional press secretary on the inaugural. So I'm now finishing up my last semester of law school at Ohio State, and I will graduate in May, and I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, I'm down here at CPAC. I am here on behalf of the Washington Times, where I write a weekly column.
Okay. So, well, now the CPAC is almost over. What do you think of everything the past couple of days?
Oh my God, it's been absolutely incredible. I've been at CPAC for quite a few years now, and another amazing turnout of young conservatives, of conservatives from almost every state in this country, if not, I think, maybe every state. And it's just been incredible. We had some amazing speakers, amazing panels. I came in yesterday for Wayne LaPierre's speech, one of my favorites of the week. Of course, President Trump gave an incredible speech and really riled up the audience, which I love to see young people really coming together and really excited about his message and what he's done over the past 30 days.
So overall, what do you thought of President Trump's speech?
I thought his speech was great. A lot of what he's been hounding for the past month, he's been hitting on these messages, which I think are very important, and I know he thinks they're very important. The media has not been fair to him. They haven't been fair to him since the primaries, and it's time to start holding them accountable, because at the end of the day, what people want is truth. And I don't care whether that truth is for or against the president, but we need to speak truth. And the media and a lot of outlets, as you know, does not speak the truth anymore. They speak what they want to speak. And I think the future of journalism is very important, and we need to make sure that we're holding journalists accountable. And so I thought that was a really great message that he sent, as well as the message of, forgotten men and women of America will be forgotten no longer. This is something he said in his inauguration speech, which really hit home for me. I'm from the Midwest, and I've seen so many people that have been forgotten, whether this be, men and women who lost their jobs and haven't been able to find work and haven't really been able to feed their families like they used to, or if this is students who, sacrificed so much to go to college at, a great school like Ohio State and, took out all these loans, but now don't have a job, and they don't have any way to pay these loans back. And so these are important messages that I think he continues to send that I'm very appreciative of, and I think a lot of people in that room were very appreciative of.
Okay, so how many, given this, would this be your first CPAC or no?
No, this is actually my third CPAC. I came the past 2 years, and this will be my third time. This is my first time speaking on a panel at CPAC, though, so I was very blessed to have that opportunity and had a really great time with Lauren Jones from TheBlaze and Professor Spalding and Amanda and our moderator. I mean, it was a really great panel.
Yes, I was just about to mention about your panel. So what was your panel about?
Sure, so our panel was about basically what's happening on college campuses today. Snowflakes, safe spaces, all of these, words that you hear about, they're very real, and I have very personal experience with this, and it's been very difficult seeing this happen, and I don't want any student to be discriminated against, conservative or liberal, and so I think we need to step forward and make sure that everyone's free speech rights are protected.
Now, I did listen to the panel, and you had a personal story yourself, so could you elaborate more on that?
Sure. So about almost a year and a half ago now, I wrote a column in the Washington Times. I talked about abortion within the black community. I took these statistics straight from the CDC, and this was concerning to me. I wrote about this, and students from the school apparently didn't like it. It didn't fit with their liberal agenda, and they decided to begin harassing me online, which ended up escalating to threats of violence, threats of things like raping me, to know what it's like to want an abortion. It was absolutely horrific, and I dealt with the liberal administration who didn't provide me with the support I deserved. Obviously, they didn't agree with me being Catholic and being pro-life and having these views. But that's fine. I didn't expect them to agree with me. I expected them to protect me as a student there and to respect my right to free speech. And that was my first personal experience with what I talked about on the panel today. And it was really difficult because you hear about it, but until it happens to you, it doesn't, I don't think, become quite as real. And so I want to be able to share this personal experience with others to inspire people to stand up so that we can prevent this from happening to other people, or make people who have, gone through this type of situation stand up, because a lot of kids have been silenced. I say for every, one kid like me or one student like me who stood up and talked about it, there's probably 10 more who had gone through situations like this and haven't talked about them.
So, I guess one question I've been asking most people is, what words of encouragement would you have to someone that is maybe not describing themselves as a conservative or a libertarian? Kind of what was asked during the panel, but maybe is questioning progressive ideology, and maybe they've seen friends of theirs that have been ostracized, but so they're kind of feeling apprehensive as far as wanting to speak out. So, what words of encouragement would you give them?
I think the number one thing that I try to remind other students of is that you're never alone. Whether you have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 50 other students on campus that are going through what you're going through, or that, have the same beliefs as you, you're never alone. There's always going to be people you can reach out to, or organizations outside of your campus, like I talked about on the panel, that you can reach out to. And so I think it's very important for young conservatives and for all conservatives to continue to use platforms like social media to, talk about these organizations and what they can do for students, because it's very important for someone to not go through that alone, because that's a very difficult situation. Even think about, when you're a little kid and you get bullied by someone on the bus or at school, you come home, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't matter how strong of a person you are. It doesn't matter if you're 15, 25, or 55. When you're going through a situation where you're being bullied or you're being discriminated against, it's very difficult. And so it's important for people to have that support system, whether that comes from home, it comes from organizations, or, it just comes from other students. We need to make sure students have that.
And you have anything coming up?
So, like I said, I'll be graduating from law school in May, so I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, I'm still doing my weekly column in the Washington Times on WashingtonTimes.com every Thursday, and my new website just released, MadisonGesiotto.com, so people can subscribe on there to receive my columns and email every week. And of course, I'm on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just my full name again, Madison Gesiotto.
Okay, and I definitely would suggest for everyone to go to see the video of that panel. It was a great panel, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's great to be with you.
Thanks.
And thanks to Madison for speaking with us for a couple of minutes. Next interview coming up is with Suzanne Venker. She has a book out about being an alpha female, and just gonna have her to go more into it, and here's my interview with her.
This is Politics.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe, and I am with author Suzanne Venker. I'm author of The Alpha Female's Guide to Men and Marriage. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I just screwed up that title, didn't I?
No, actually, you did. That's right. It's a little bit easier than it sounds.
So what's the book all about?
So the book is about how alpha females, or women who demonstrate a lot of more typically masculine qualities, can become softer and more feminine when they're with their man and when they're as a wife, and sort of switch out of one mode into another to have more peaceful, loving relationships with their spouse.
Yeah, well, given that we're here at CPAC, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of alpha females here, so I'm guessing this would be very helpful for them.
Yes, this just came up in the last interview, and there's no question about it, although I try not to focus too much on, it's not so much about what you do during the day. It's about whether or not whatever it is that you're doing puts you in boss mode. So I often say that oftentimes women who are at home with their kids struggle with this because they're in boss mode, and they have no boss, they are the boss. So to move and shift from being a mother to a wife is not an easy thing, but those two domains require really just a completely different set of tools, in the same way the professional world does with being a wife as well. So it's really more about just getting out of this mode and going into a much more loving and receptive and softer mode.
Okay. Well, given you are the author of this fabulous book, so tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I am clearly an alpha female. I cannot deny that. And this has been a long journey for me because I was raised by a very strong alpha woman mother. I could see where there was a lot of problems, actually, in her relationship with my father as a result of that fact. And she ruled the roost and had trouble adhering to my father's opinions or ideas on things, and she pretty much just kind of railroaded them, and it was very it was something that dramatically affected me and my upbringing, and so I somewhat adopted those traits, I think, and unlike her, just decided that this isn't really working, and I don't really want it to be this way, and so it was a long journey of my figuring out how, on my own, to become this type of person that I'm talking about with my husband, so that life was more peaceful at home, and it wasn't like two alphas at the helm trying to vie for control, which is really what this book is about.
Okay, so it's I guess in a way it was kind of kind of therapeutic as far
Absolutely.
as writing this book.
It was as much for me as it is for other women that can identify. Absolutely. It's very much a memoir.
Okay. So, this your first CPAC, or how many you been to?
I know. I've been to one, but it was about 4 or 5 years ago when it was at a different location. And at that point, I had a very different book out that was much more political.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And so, what do you think about the atmosphere in this one?
Well, the hotel is a lot bigger, and it's a lot harder to find my way around. But it's interesting to be back in this environment with so many like-minded people. That's really a rare thing to be able to be. Especially for me, I'm so used to going to the Lion's Den and fighting the left. So it's really kind of fun to be in this environment with people who just, in general, think alike. It's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, that's one thing I mentioned in my podcast is that coming to events like this, for a lot of people, is very refreshing because most people, in their 9-to-5 job, they don't have conservative friends for the most part, or at least if they are, they're not vocal about it. So they have to meet in some back room somewhere. Yeah. So something like this is just really it's just a breath of fresh air to just sit and talk openly about these issues without having to look around like who's listening. I don't want someone to say something.
Imagine if you could live this way every day of your life. Think about that, how that would change life for people to just talk, to say what they want to say and not worry about. I just can't even imagine it because I'm so used to always curtailing my thought.
Yeah, so I've been asking everyone this question. So, for you, what does the word conservative mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question, especially today. I think it's so butchered. And I liken it to the left, the liberal no longer being, of course, liberal doesn't mean liberal. Today, a conservative is liberal, in my opinion. Your classic liberal value or outlook is to be extremely open-minded and tolerant of all points of view. That's what a classic liberal is. And because liberals went so far off the deep end and are now officially just radicals, it's made what you would originally call conservative actually be the true liberals, in my opinion, because that's why you don't get the same hate and the same protesting and all of that you get from the left, because conservatives, of course, are more tolerant. They're also more giving. They put their money where their mouth is, and this has been studied and proven that conservatives actually spend more of their money to help those less fortunate than liberals do. So they walk the walk, walk the talk, whatever that phrase is.
Yeah. So what do you have coming up? Other than the book, do you have anything else?
No, I'm fully in publicity mode for this book right now. I do have some things in the back burner, but right now I'm just trying to stay focused on this.
Okay. So I guess I want to ask one last question is, we were talking about as far as people going to their normal work and having to deal normally with liberals or people that are against them. What would you say to someone who maybe is meeting in the back room with that person that's not so much saying they want to be a conservative or a libertarian, but they don't like, they're thinking and they just say, okay, I don't like this, I don't like progressive ideology. What would you tell that person as far as some encouragement to get more involved?
I guess I would say that you would be surprised that you think that you are not the norm because being politically correct and what's accepted is being liberal, so the perception is that you think oddly or differently. Actually, I would say it's the reverse, and that the majority of the people who aren't speaking up do think like you, but they're being silent. So if you do speak up, you will find all of a sudden those people will start to do that too, because it's just human nature. You need to be led so that you feel okay saying what you think, and someone needs to break that down and start that process.
Yeah, a lot of times, I guess you have to get through the name calling and whatever that comes with it. But just realize that you're not alone. That if you just look out there, you will find some people that will be supportive with you. You just have to, I guess, take the time to really be into whatever it is. So this is Politics, and thank you very much. And also, I want you to say the name of your book without me messing it up.
It's called The Alpha Female's Guide to Men and Marriage.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you again to Suzanne for speaking with us for a couple of minutes. And we're at the last interview last but certainly not least, got a chance to speak with Lawrence Billy Jones III of TheBlaze. A good friend of mine. He was part of the panel with Madison and Amanda, talking about snowflakes in the safe spaces. So I'll go ahead and get into this, and this will probably be at the end of this interview. I probably won't be coming back, so I just want to say now, if you want to contact with us on social media, it's all the same word. TrendChat 24/7, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's all the same. So I'm hoping you've been enjoying these interviews, and we'll have a whole nother packed show tomorrow. So until tomorrow, I will chat with y'all later. After, make sure y'all listen to this interview with Lawrence Billy Jones. Don't go away yet, but here we go.
All right, this is politichicks.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe. I am with the Lawrence Billy Jones III.
Why don't you have to put the in front of it?
Well, because you're the big shot at TheBlaze.
I'm just one of the guys, you know.
So, actually, what is your official title with TheBlaze?
I'm radio host for TheBlaze as well as contributing host to TheBlaze TV. So I do the investigative reports, sometimes breaking news stories, anything that's pretty much focused on people and how it affects them. I split my job from being a commentator, political commentator, and the rest of the stuff that I do that's not involved in politics is journalistic, investigative. I'm the lead investigative journalist on TheBlaze.
Okay. So what are you speaking on today here at CPAC? I know you're speaking on something.
Yeah, so I'm supposed to be speaking at CPAC on colleges, campuses, how the left has taken over the campuses where they want to create safe spaces, coddle students, and how can we combat that? Which is an important topic because conservatives traditionally don't do a good job organizing, and they don't do a good job organizing on college campuses. And so what we see is they take over the campuses because we refuse to go there. The liberals do, and we don't have any representation. And when we do have representation, they bully the students on campus. There is not a unity message there. And we lose. We lose the young people's vote. So what can we do to change their culture?
So I know this is not your first CPAC. So how many CPACs you been to?
5 probably.
Okay.
Yeah, 5.
Okay. Now I follow you on social media, and I remember a post of you saying that you say you are libertarian now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying. I'm just asking, because what I've been asking everyone else. I just what does the word conservative mean to you?
You know, I'm not sure. The reason why I changed, and it's a good question about that. The reason why I changed over to the libertarian principles is because I felt like conservatives abandoned their principles. When I left the Democratic Party, I didn't go to the Republican Party. I went to the conservative principles because I didn't want more government. I wanted the smallest government and for government to just do their role the Constitution gives them. And what I've learned in the last month is that the new conservatives today aren't so much for limited government, they're for the government that they approve, the government that is acceptable for them. And that's not cool with me. I'm for limited government. Now, do I have personal views on issues? You bet I do. But the government doesn't have the right to dictate certain issues. And I think when the conservatives get back to those principles, then maybe I come back. But for right now, you know, I'm not one of those crazy libertarians, but I believe that, you know, for some years I'm going to be fighting them to get back in their place, you know.
Okay, so well, given that what you said as far as how the movement has, as far as the conservative movement has gone, so well, I guess to you, like conservative, if you wanted to get back to that movement, what would it mean for you as a definition? Like, if someone said, all right, what's a conservative? So, I mean, what would you tell them?
You know, free market principles.
That's what it should be.
Protecting the rights of life.
Okay.
And that's an issue that is split between the Libertarian Party about pro-life issues, which is it's hard for me to go over there because I know some people, half of the Libertarian group are pro-life and half of them are pro-choice. A quality education, a lot of the rights returned back to the states. Like, all of those are principles. If it's not in the Constitution, then it goes to the states. Free market principles, like all of those are what we should stand for. And we have to be consistent. It can't be when our guys in there, we're okay with executive orders. If we were against it with President Obama, then we should be against it with the president, our current president. We have to maintain our principles because that's how we gain the respect of many. You can't be hypocrisy. You can't have hypocrisy going back and forth, you know?
Now, as a black conservative, myself and just anyone that questions progressive ideology, we always get the name calling and just the scorn from other black people and whatnot. What would you say to someone who is out there that maybe is questioning progressive ideology? Not saying they want to become a conservative or a libertarian, but they know they don't like the policies that are going on in their neighborhood, and they're afraid of being ostracized because they see what happened to maybe the guy down the street when he came out and said he was a Republican. They just kicked him out of the hood basically. Yeah. What would you tell that person some words to encourage?
He should be trying to make it out of the hood anyway. Yeah. But look, I when it comes to my community, at the beginning stage of my career, I realized you have to be adamant about changing your community. And what I've learned is that I don't talk at my community, I talk to them. Whether I'm on CNN, Fox, or MSNBC, and there's going to be some name calling from some. But the majority of the people in our community are not comfortable with the circumstance that we're in. And I always use my barbershop as my training ground and as my message tester. Because if we can get my barbers in the barbershop, I go to a traditional black barbershop. I've been going there since I was a kid. So they've seen me evolve. If the message works with them, then I know I'm on the right track. The point, the problem that we have with conservatism today is that we don't package stuff well. I'm not saying abandon the principle, but you have to relate it to the people that you're trying to reach. And I make it my mission to take a conservative message and apply it to my community, whether it's through hip hop or other people that they look up to in our community. I find that conservative message and I make them see it through music, movies, whatever, because that's how they consume that knowledge. And so a person that you have people that are on social media that try to call me Uncle Tom and all that. But as far as my community, they know what I stand for because I've been working to help. My record is clear. And so I would encourage people to get a record, because a lot of liberals that represent our community, black people that represent us, that look like us, they don't have a record of helping the community, but they get support. You got to get a record.
All right, and so what do you have coming up?
I have several reports that's going to be released on TheBlaze. I'm doing a story that crazy libertarian in me is doing a story on marijuana and the growth of government in the industry. Is it about marijuana or drug prevention, or is it about the government being involved in helping pharmaceutical companies make money? And if that's the case, which you'll learn in my investigation, then we got a big problem. And what can we do to address that problem? So, it'll be a good report. I hope it changes some people's mind. I spend a day with a lot of people that struggle with different illnesses that end up taking marijuana and it saves their lives. So I'm interested for you guys to see that next week.
Okay. All right, this has been Politics. I'm Brian Bledsoe, and I appreciate Lawrence Billy, the Lawrence Billy Jones.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it.
And once again, I actually have a couple of seconds. So thanks to Lawrence Billy Jones III from TheBlaze, and also just thank everyone for their time. And tomorrow we'll have another full episode of interviews. I will release those details and who will be on later on in the day. I hope you've been enjoying these interviews, and until tomorrow, I will chat with you later.